All right, Matthew, Star Tyson Global Journalist is back. Let me officially welcome you to the podcast. Now, is this your second or third time on the show?
It's my third time.
Okay, well then let's dispense with the pleasantries. So, you often cover environmental stories for us. What have you got today?
So my top story today is about coal. It always is. According to Bloomberg, China's coal imports in the first 11 months of this year surpassed total coal imports for the whole of last year. China bought 299 million tonnes of coal for power and steel in the first 11 months, 10% higher than a year ago, and a record for the period. China is the world's biggest buyer of coal, but after this bumper year of imports, analysts think purchases from overseas in 2020 will go down as domestic production rises to a record level.
So, what's going on?
Basically, China is building and investing in bigger and more efficient mining operations, and this new domestic coal will create a glut. And that's bad news for Australia and Indonesia, who are the top exporters of coal to China.
And why have you picked this as your top story for us today?
Well, it's important for a number of reasons. The first I've already talked about earlier. It could have massive knock-on effects on coal-producing industries in other countries. Second, it highlights some of China's competing priorities and how the government is trying to balance them all. According to James Stevenson, Global Director for Coal Research at IHS Markit Limited, quote, "The government wants to boost the economy any way it can, and a good way to do that is to let generators get the cheapest coal," unquote. But, quote, "at the same time, it doesn't want imported coal risking domestic mining jobs." Lastly, there is the small issue of climate change.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Yes, a report published by the environmental research network Global Energy Monitor in November said that China's proposed coal power expansion through 2035 means its coal power capacity alone could, quote, "far exceed the total capacity allotted to the entire world under the Paris Agreement, which aims to keep global heating below 2 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels and shoot for a target of 1.5 centigrade." The whole story illustrates that while China may be making massive progress on renewable energy, its demand for coal isn't going away anytime soon, and any new coal plants will likely be in use for decades, with potentially huge greenhouse gas emissions that are driving global heating and climate change.
Thank you very much for that, Matthew, and let's hope neither of us find coal in our stockings on Wednesday.